Shalom. I had a little time to spare. I didn't really have time for the Torah, Didn't have time to get into the biblical discussions. I only got about 40 minutes before I have an appointment over here. But since I got a couple minutes, I figured I might get a little politics in today. If anybody happens to come up, we might get a little politicking in. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if anybody pops in, and we'll go from there. All right. U.S. involvement in Iran. Yeah, it seems as if it's almost over, but I think the damage may have been done to Trump's ability or to his legacy per se. Right? I think he can't run anymore, so he's not too worried about it. But I think the damage to his legacy, the damage to J.D. Vance, and the damage to Marco Rubio, the damage to the Republican Party in general, has already been done. I don't think this worked out very well. I think at this point he kind of knows it didn't work out very well, and he's trying to get out pretty fast. I don't know if he'll be able to and salvage, anything. I think, quite frankly, this may be Trump's biggest L in 8 years. Well, quite frankly, it hasn't been totally 8, so we can't say in 8 years. But his biggest L in 6, other than losing the presidency, right? It's his biggest L other than losing the national election. And I'll be completely honest, right? After this, because of the way J.D. Vance distanced himself, it's a chance I may still consider J.D. Vance. I won't even consider Marco Rubio. So to me, Marco Rubio is not even a viable option for the presidency. It's not even a possibility that Marco Rubio can be president after this escapade, because now I see that you're perfectly fine with getting us into what could be. Furthermore, if you thought Afghanistan and Iraq were bad, right? Like if Afghanistan and Iraq were bad, what could have came from Iran and what may still come from Iran could be totally worse. Getting into a ground quagmire with Iran would be 1,000,000 times worse than getting into a ground quagmire in Afghanistan or in Iraq. It's completely different. And I think Trump realizes. I think Trump thought Iran was in Iraq or in Afghanistan, that if he went in and dropped some bombs for a couple months, that it would be all over and everything would be finished. I think he realized that Iran is not Iraq. It is a functioning government. He went in and took out a whole layer of government, right? And realized that Iran's still going to function even when you take out a whole layer of government. So I do think he is now in a bit of a quagmire. What do I do now? Now, of course, he's a bit of a liar. Right? He's not the most truthful person, so he can just go outside and say, hey, we won. He doesn't really have to, worry about it much. Because he can just say we won. Oh, look, we won, guys. Like he's going to do. In a couple of days, if he pulls out, he's going to pull out. And he's going to say, oh, look, we beat Iran. Look, so that's what he's going to lie, and just say he won. But I think people are going to realize that, especially swing voters, are going to see this and say, man, I just went to the airport and I'm waiting 5-6 hours in Atlanta now, and you can't pay TSA agents, but on the same scale, you can afford to go to war with Iran and get an extra $200 billion on top of the $1 trillion military budget already have. What's up, boss man? How are you?
No, doing good, my man. I think that everyone's complaining about those long ass lines at the airport. I think there's some sassy ass DL niggas. Do you agree?
No, I think some people got business to attend to, and when it takes me 6 hours to get to TSA, it may hinder the business that I need to do.
Well, what business is that, my man?
Me personally, I don't have any right now. I'm just saying in general.
No doubt. Yeah, mostly bitch ass niggas complain about long lines at the airport, though. No doubt.
There you go. I mean, hey, I appreciate your opinion. Have a good day. Here's the thing, right? You can say Democrats cause the lines at the airport, and that's fine. I'm not necessarily disagreeing. The point is, right, even if Democrats cause the long lines, why don't you fight as hard against the Democrats that you decided to fight on behalf of Israel and Iran is the premise. I don't have a problem with that. My point is, why don't you fight as hard there? Right? When we have these huge issues stateside, let's say if you consider the Democrats an enemy with the enemy, Why is my focus in Iran when my focus should be on fighting with the Democrats to get the TSA? You're doing the reverse because all you're doing is you're giving Democrats more power. Can I be honest with you guys? Because of this incursion into Iran, the Democrats are going to take the House. Full stop. At the end of this year, November, or in January when they take office, election in November, they'll take office in January, the Democrats will take the House. The government will be shut down for the next 2 years. We won't get anything done. Republicans may continue to control the Senate, possibly. But they're going to lose the House for sure. For sure, no doubt. Repo, one, Iran didn't have nukes. Two, if Iran still had nukes, Trump lied because he said we destroyed their nuclear capabilities months ago when we sent the B-2s to go bomb. So two things can't be true, right? Two things cannot be true. It can't be true that Iran was going to attack us. And quite frankly, then you have to prove Iran has an ICBM that can reach America. Do you know how difficult it is to build an ICBM that can reach from the Middle East to America? You have to even prove that Iran had those. I don't think they did. This war was completely for Israel. It was admitted by by Marco Rubio at the beginning of the war. He said Israel said they were going to attack, and we said, well, they're going to attack U.S. assets in the Middle East if Israel attacks, so we got to attack anyway. This was never an America war. We have no need of fighting Iran. Iran can cause us no harm, with the exception to military bases in the area. I make the argument we probably shouldn't even have military bases in the area, though. Maybe one. Maybe we keep Kuwait or Qatar or something, but we shouldn't even have multiple bases in the area. For what? We have no use for it. None. We have absolutely no use for bases in the Middle East. So even if the argument is they're going to remove the bases, we have no reason to be there anyway. We don't need the bases. I agree. I don't think Trump, I think he bailed. I think Iran said we're going to attack desalination plants in Qatar and in the UAE and in Saudi, and we're going to attack power infrastructure in the UAE and Saudi and business infrastructure in the UAE and Saudi, and Trump backed down. I think he got punked, for my honest opinion. I think Iran punked him. I think they called his bluff. I think he's realizing that Iran can last without power. They don't really care that much. If you shut the power off, they have so much control of their people. I think that's another misconception too. People are in this misconception that majority of Iranians don't like the IRGC. That's not true. I don't know where people get this idea from, right? We can obviously tell that in America, when you see people in Chicago protesting saying defund the police, defund the police, defund the police, that it's not the majority of the country. When it comes to Iran, magically, when you see people in the streets, it's the majority of the country. I don't know. You said to make sure they don't come over here. I can make sure they don't come over here by simply flying a plane. We have a pretty much portable bases that we can just fly. We can just drive pretty close, and then we can fly planes over. If anybody's a threat, we can fly planes over and do whatever we got to do. Are you a Muslim? No, I'm not a Muslim. I despise Islam, to be honestly. If the goal was actually to get rid of the Islamic regime in Iran, I would support the war more. But that's not the goal is not to free the people from Islam in Iran. It's not the goal. I may be okay with that. I'm a bit of a theonomist. Remember 9/11? Yeah, I remember 9/11. That was probably done by the Israelis that George Bush knew about but let happen because he wanted a reason to go into the Middle East. Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware that we found, what's his name? Not Saddam Hussein. Why am I forgetting this man's name right now? The leader of Al-Qaeda. I'm forgetting his name for whatever reason. I'm having a brain fart. We found him in Pakistan after we attacked Afghanistan for years and years and years. I'm aware of that. Are you aware that we attacked Afghanistan for years and years and years because we said he was there, then we found him in Pakistan? Osama bin Laden, thank you. Are you aware of that? That we went to war with Afghanistan, destroyed the country. Listen, we fought against Afghanistan, against the Taliban in Afghanistan for years. Hold on one second, guys. I might have to get off. I might come back later. Hold on one second. Got some business to attend to. No, I don't know. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we fought against the Taliban for years, and then we put the Taliban back in charge. Literally. Yes, I think Israel had a lot to do with 9/11, for sure. No doubt, Israel had a lot to do with 9/11. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. They wanted us to go attack the Middle East. They had a lot to do with it. Are you aware of the black city of Dimona in Israel hit by Iran? Listen, guy, I don't base everything on my race. I know people in Dimona personally. When a nation gets attacked, I'm not saying, well, Iran attacked the black city. They attacked every city. What's the difference? What do you think I'm what? I'm just black? Religious, man. I prefer religious government. Those aren't they aren't Americans anymore. They used to be Americans. They came from Chicago. They went from Chicago to Liberia to Israel. Now most of them are Israeli citizens. Those aren't Americans anymore. They don't want to be Americans. If you call them Americans, they'll say they're not Americans. I know them personally. I personally know people in Dimona. I can get someone in Dimona on the phone when I get off of here. So I know people in Dimona. I'm not guessing about Dimona. I'm not guessing. But yeah, we see America, guys. We see what happens. Where is the Dimona's in Israel? It's like south. Gotta get my direction straight. South. What's that? West? Southwest Israel. You didn't call to check on them. They were attacked by the enemies because no one's unalived. What they struck wasn't. And here you actually, what you're actually doing is telling us of Israel's racism. Those people in Dimona, the reason they're in Dimona is because Dimona is where a nuclear plant is, a nuclear reactor. So the reason Israel put the black people in Dimona is because of the nuclear reactor in Dimona. That's what Iran tried to attack, not the people, but the nuclear reactor. So you're actually showing Israel's racism because they took the black people and said, I'm going to stick you over here by this nuclear reactor and you figure it out. I'm gonna stick you over there. You go live in a nuclear wasteland. If someone bombs the nuclear plant, who cares? Your poison gets poisoned, your water gets poisoned, who cares? Are you excusing Iran? Listen, I think Iran has a right to defend themselves. I wish Iran didn't exist. Now listen, I wish Iran was a Christian nation. But if that's not the goal, then leave them alone. What's the purpose? Now, once again, I'll say this. I think Israel can attack whoever they want. I think Israel can attack Iran if they want. I don't care what Israel does to Iran. Doesn't concern me. I'm an American. What America does concerns me. If Israel wants to fly, as long as they don't harm children and women, if they want to go military on military with Iran, have at it. I'm not here to stop another country from doing anything they want to do. Just leave me out of it. I don't care what you do to Iran. You can bomb Iran until the next century. I could care less. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. What does affect me is what the U.S. military does. That's what affects me. So that's what I care about. What's America's involvement? And where could we better use that $200 billion that we are spending to go fight Iran could be much better used to take care of the poor, the needy, the oppressed in America. We have poor in America. We have homeless problems in America. We have children who don't eat in America. We have children who don't have homes in America. Right? Why, if I have children who don't have homes in America, am I spending $200 billion in Iran to fight a war that has nothing to do with me? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's my problem. If it's the Holy Land, Sassy, we should go take it from Israel as well. So I'm fine with that. Do you want to launch the war and take the whole Middle East? I'm okay with that too. What's up, Rich?
Yo.
How are you, man?
Yo, nigger, quit complaining and go to fucking work on my plantation, boy.
Listen. Anyways, all right. Anyways, my dog Aaron coming up, man. Oh, he didn't mean to. I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. Righteous Reaper, diabolical, precisely, diabolical. For what? I don't know. But yeah, it's hungry in America. It's homeless in America. It's children not eating in America. It's children that have to pay for lunch at school in America. It's people who don't have health insurance, who can't afford health insurance in America. Right? Yet we will spend $200 billion in Israel. It doesn't make any sense. To me, it's crazy. Doesn't make any sense. It's asinine. It's asinine. For the sake of Israel, we go spend $200 billion that we could spend in America, helping American children, American widows, American orphans, as the scripture commands us. TX, what's up, boss?
And you gotta ignore these ignorant people, man. They just cut like that. So,
you see, we just move on. We don't stay on it too long.
Anybody, hey, they like 2-year-old kids, man. You know what I mean? They think everything belongs to them.
That's it. Totally right, man. You in there?
Yep.
You in there, man.
So what needs to happen is we need to take charge. We need to be in charge of the country. We're tired of it.
Hey.
War. 550 bombings since the beginning of this country from them. They've always been the aggressor, but they don't want to talk that shit. We was the first ones on this planet. They're the babies.
Well, listen, man. I appreciate you. I think Christians take control of the country. But, the brother, hey, Hollis, I appreciate him coming up with support. But Trump all day, baby. Listen, I voted for Trump 3 times, guys. I voted for Trump 3 times. I will not vote for Marco Rubio. I may vote for J.D. Vance, pending how this thing ends and how he continues to distance himself. I'll prefer Thomas Massey runs. If Thomas Massey runs, it's Thomas Massey or bust. I'll be honest with you. It's Thomas Massey as president or bust. But I will not vote for Marco Rubio. He's out. He's not an option anymore. I'll be honest with you. If Marco Rubio is the Republican nominee, I'm not voting for president in 2028 at all. I'm just not voting. For president, I'm going to vote, but I'm not going to vote for president. I'm going to leave that one off. I'm going to leave that one blank. Let y'all figure it out. But yeah, guys, we could spend this $200 billion in much better ways. And there is nothing that's going to change in Iran. I think at this point, and Trump's starting to realize it, nothing's going to change there. The people in Iran like their government. The Iranian government it functions, not great, but pretty good. It is a well-functioning, not saying it's good, but it's a well-functioning government that can't just be taken down by a couple missiles, taken out a power grid, whatever. It's not going to change anything. Now, if, once again, Rubio 28, I think Rubio has a 0% chance of winning. I think Rubio has a 0% chance of winning. Shalom, shalom. Good morning, Sammy. And the reason why is because they no longer have a base. The IRGC is the government, David. You can argue this. The IRGC at the end of the day is the government. The prime minister of Iran, the president of Iran, rather, can be removed by the Ayatollah. The IRGC is the government. The people voted, and a lot of people forget this. The people voted for an Islamic Republic. The people voted for the Islamic Republic. They voted for it. These people didn't come in and take over by military force. The Islamic government came in because the people literally voted on a constitution that was Islamic because they're Muslims. So we forget that they're Muslims. They voted for an Islamic government. They want an Islamic government. Now, is it a chance that they don't want the IRGC, the current Islamic government? Sure. Do they want the U.S.? Of course not. They're Muslims. Especially because most of the seculars fled. They got out of there. They live in America. They live in L.A. They live in London. They live in New York. They don't live there anymore. The people that stayed were religious because they enjoyed a religious government. Now, once again, maybe this religious government got too strict. They want a different religious government. I can believe this. They don't want a secular government. They're not secularist. They're Muslims. They're Muslims. They're Muslims, Gumbo. I can respect your opinion. They're Muslims. I've seen bigger protests in support of the Ayatollah. I've seen bigger protests in support of the Ayatollah. And I used to believe it. I used to believe that Iran, and I'm not saying some people don't. Some of them aren't Muslims. The majority are still Muslims. The majority of people in Iran are Muslims. Do you know how we know? You cannot have a military where the majority of the population is against you. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. If the majority of the population is against you, the government is overthrown. The government serves at the behest of the people. Once you get down, only 30% of the people support the government. The government's because the majority of the military is also a part of the people. So a majority of the people disagree with the government, majority of the military disagree. And that's when you see a military junta. That's what happens in Argentina a lot of times, right? Argentina, a lot of times the military will take control from the government because The military, more normally, actually has the will of the people because the military is made up of the people. If the military is still intact and can still control the people, that means the people are not, the tide hasn't shifted yet. If the tide has shifted, the military will be of no effect. What's up, Donovan? How are you?
Couldn't help but I'm well, thank you. I hope you're well. I heard just a moment ago you said that you saw larger protests in support of the Ayatollah and the IRGC. Is that right?
For sure.
Yeah. What happens to the protests that crop up and object to the Ayatollah and the IRGC? What happens to those protests?
No doubt that the protesters who go up against the IRGC are sometimes ran over by tanks. Sometimes they're arrested in from cranes. I don't want to say the word on TikTok.
Mowed down with machine guns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Oh, is it? Is it fine?
In different ways.
Is it fine?
Is that fine?
You just said that's fine.
No, I'm saying I agree with your point. When I say that's fine, I'm saying you're right. That's what I mean by that's fine. Like that doesn't change my premise. Is my point. It doesn't change.
Okay, I appreciate your acquiescence to that issue. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you suppose that one of Trump's motivations for doing this is to alleviate, is to relieve the Iranian people of this despotic and murderous regime, but he can't come out and say it because then that would be perceived as an objection to Islam itself?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why not. Iran is, the United States is best friends with a country called Saudi Arabia. If you protest against the government in Saudi Arabia, it's the same punishment if you protest against government in Iran. We're best friends with Qatar. If you protest against government in Qatar, it's the same punishment. We saw Saudi Arabia get a dude who he lived in America, wasn't an American citizen, lived in America. He wrote something bad about the Saudi government. They called him into the embassy, cut him up, put him in bags and got rid of him. And we did nothing. We didn't care. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
That happened in Turkey.
It happened in Turkey. My point is, it was still someone who lived in America for a time, protested against the Saudi government, got cut up, put in bags. Did we care? Of course not. America cares about something called American interest. That's how we care about, in some cases, the interest of Israel for some odd reason. But in most cases, the interest of America, we don't care if a government's oppressive to their people. If we have an oppressive government that's pro-U.S., we will prop up the oppressive government. We could care less. We don't care. It's not we're not.
You're aware of the Sunni-Shia schism?
Yes, of course, brother. I'll talk about yeah.
So if the Sunnis present us with an opportunity to capitalize and relieve the Iranian people of that despotic regime, you don't suppose we should capitalize on that opportunity?
What Sunnis are you referring to?
Well, you just mentioned Saudi Arabia and Qatar. These are Sunni nations, not Shia nations.
Qatar is a Sunni. I don't think you quite understand Islam. Qatar is a Sunni nation. Qatar is still very friendly with Iran, extremely friendly. So friendly that Saudi Arabia and the rest of the countries in the Gulf had to put a blockade on Qatar in 2017, wouldn't let any food in because they were so friendly with Iran. Another Sunni organization is the one in Palestine, Hamas. Hamas is a Sunni organization. Hamas's best friend is Iran, a Shia nation. Iraq is 50%. It's pretty much 50-50 Shia Sunni. Iran controls the 50% Shia half, and they're very friendly with the Sunni half. It's not always this pure dichotomy. Now, in the case of Saudi Arabia, it is because Saudi Arabia, right, is just very anti-Iran, not necessarily on a Shia-Sunni basis because they're turning into a more secular government. It's a basis of control. Now, if Saudi Arabia had said, we have the ability to install a leader in Iran, all I need you to do is go drop, go bomb them for 2 weeks, and we have the guys inside who can then place a leader within, I would be all for it. If all we had to do was drop bombs on Iran for 2 weeks and we get a new government, why not? Try it out. Let's see if it works. I don't care. That's fine. That's not the case. Saudi Arabia hasn't made this case. There is no Sunni leader. Once again, the people of Iran are Shia Muslims. They're not going to accept a Sunni leader. It doesn't work that way. They would rather die. They would rather die than accept a Sunni leader. Literally, we've seen it. If you understood the history of Sunnis and Shias, you would understand Iran will never be.
That's why I asked you the question, sir.
Iran would never be ran by a Sunni. They would rather be unalive.
That wasn't my question. My question was, if the Sunnis presented us with an opportunity to remove the very caustic Shia government in Iran, should we capitalize on that opportunity? I believe the answer, and you gave the answer, is yes.
Yeah, the opportunity doesn't exist. That's a hypothetical question.
You might want to turn the news on, my friend, if you don't think that opportunity exists.
Who is the Sunni leader that's about to take over Iran?
I'm not aware of any stated Sunni leader about to take over Iran. I'm talking about the fact that the Sunni nations in the Middle East are affording us this opportunity, given the fact that they are expressing their cooperation with the United States in our endeavors there.
What are they doing other than letting us use military bases and airspace?
Other than what more do we need? We don't need back rubs, my guy. We need access to those military bases.
We need, first of all, we have access to the bases already. That's nothing new that they did. We own the bases. Saudi Arabia cannot tell us no. Those are our bases, and they need our protection. It's not a case of like, oh, Saudi, say if we don't protect. When Kuwait was about to attack Saudi, they called us and said, "Please help me." When Iraq was about to attack, they called us and said, "Please help me." When
Iraq invaded Kuwait, yes,
they need our help. It's not a. And quite frankly, the person in the comments right. Our protection is becoming worth less and less because they are getting hit very hard by Iran, by the RGC right now. Extremely hard, and we're doing anything to protect them. We're not helping them.
Yeah, we're just giving out love taps, right?
No, Iran's giving them love taps, and we ain't doing nothing to help them. Now we may be bombing, we're not doing. There has not been an aircraft carrier parked off the coast of Qatar to protect Qatar. It's not worth it to us. We don't do it. It doesn't exist.
Speaking of existing, is there a set of circumstances where you believe that Iran will come out victorious in this conflict?
I think in 99% of cases, Iran comes out, depending on what you call victorious. The Iranian government will stand. Iran will be militarily a little less pliable. They're going to have a little less, but they know how to build missiles very, very well. And all their bunkers are underground, so they're not going to, it depends on what you call a win. I think it's just going to end in a stalemate. I don't think anybody's going to win.
I think their Navy would disagree. But
they don't need a Navy.
I bet. What was that?
Yeah, you're right. We dismantled. They don't need. That's not a loss. That's not like a.
Yeah.
I think what a loss is in a war. What was America's objectives when we went into war with Iran? Let's see what you think America's objectives.
Regime change.
Okay, so that won't happen. That means America will not meet.
It's already happened, my friend. It's already happened.
Who is in charge of Iran right now?
The Ayatollah.
Whose son is the current Ayatollah right now?
The son of the one we unalived.
That's regime change.
Yes.
Okay. Goodbye, man. You have a good day. All right.
Okay.
That brother said, putting the son of the guy who was unalived in charge is regime change. The Ayatollah is still in charge. It's the son of the last Ayatollah, and that's regime change. That's the thinking. That's why you can't talk to some people for too long, man. They'll rot your brain.
Hi, brother.
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, that guy was an idiot. Like, how do you take out the Ayatollah? And then the son takes over and you argue that's regime change. That's like Ayatollah 2.0, man.
He's more aggressive than his father. The reason they put him in charge. Aggressive. That's how I know this guy doesn't know. Literally, the reason why this guy became the Ayatollah is because the IRGC said, now we need someone aggressive. His daddy wasn't aggressive enough. The Ayatollah, quite frankly, showed the most restraint. I'll be honest. The Ayatollah showed the most restraint of any leader on the planet. His top general was unalived 3 times. He never attacked to retaliate against it. I'm not saying I like the guy. I don't like him. I don't like any Muslim leader, I'll be honest. But he showed extreme restraint. I got to give him that. He showed extreme restraint. This guy does not have that restraint. An Iranian oil facility was attacked. He immediately attacked a gas facility in Qatar. Did not wait a singular. He didn't even have time. They didn't even give the U.S. time to call and say it wasn't me. As soon as they saw the missile in the air heading for theirs, they put a missile in the air heading back the other way. You're dealing with someone more aggressive, not less. Kind of crazy to say that's regime change. Yeah, maybe negative regime change. The regime change.
And the objectives, I think it was regime change. The ballistic missiles, right? it is the nuclear, whatever. But look at it today. The regime is still in place, and now they have a hardliner who is the Ayatollah's son.
Yes.
And at least when there was the JCPOA, the IAEA was sending in inspectors. They at least knew where the material was. Who now knows where the material is? Nobody. And now they have taken out the Ayatollah, the one who had given the two fatwas, the religious edicts, stating that Iran will not pursue a nuclear boom boom. Now they have given him all the incentives. So I don't know how the objectives have been met. So these people trying to argue that this intervention was objective, I think they are, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird arguing with some people, man. That's what I was saying, bro.
Yeah, man, they have no idea. They have no idea, man.
And another thing, I'd like to play something for you. It's from the executive of the Middle East Forum, Greg Roman. He was testifying on the House Doge Committee on how U.S. aid has been funding T groups. Listen.
Dollars a week to the Taliban. Yes, sir. Can you name other end? Are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban? Yes, sir. Can you name other instances of foreign aid going to terrorist organizations? We have assisted Al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the Hamzi network in Sudan, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib al-Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S. foreign aid.
Now, when I listen to this, that's why I always feel like it's like hypocrisy to think that the United States can dictate to another nation. And even if it was to bring change, I think that should be left entirely to the Iranian population, because by bombing them the way the Americans are doing today, I don't think everybody will rally behind them and ask them,
There you go.
you know, and be okay. Okay.
That's what Americans don't realize, man. You bombing these countries, it does not produce within the population a will to want to be more pro-America. All it did was create a whole nother generation of death to America chance that if you would have given another 25 years, maybe it dies out. Maybe eventually Iran does become a little more pro-West if you just, but when you launch another bombing campaign against them, when you threaten to knock out their power, if they don't do exactly as you want, you threaten their livelihood. You say, we're going to take your island that produces all the money that you could possibly have. When all these things happen, right, you end up in a position where now this nation hates America even more. You know what I'm saying? They begin to despise America even more. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's crazy that when these people say dead to America, I always ask people, okay, you're first in line to call them terrorists because they are saying dead to America. But do you think it just happened in a vacuum? There's a reason for it. There's historical context. In 1953, it's the Americans, the CIA, who toppled their democratic leader, Mossadegh, right?
Oh, you know, I like you. You're studied. I like you. Yes.
And it's crazy. And then after
Iran really had a democracy with a leader that they liked, the CIA, along with MI6, came in, toppled this leader, and put the Shah back in place, which led to the Ayatollah being in place. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Oh, man.
Hey, guys, I got to hop off and handle some business, man, but I'm going to hop back on.